evening everyone, I hope you guys are all well. I have just settled Ivy and I have recorded it on my phone because I had to use the monitor that is in our room. My camera doesn't have night vision obviously, so I make the room very dark. I just thought the best way to film this was through the monitor, so I did a screen recording. I know a lot of you guys were asking how I managed to get Ivy to sleep and settle herself, so here it is. So we are ready for night routine. I've showered and got into my pajamas because I won't be able to do this later once Ivy's asleep. So I start off by giving Ivy a feed, and I'm going to feed her off both sides. But as you can see, she's rubbing her eyes there. She's super tired because she only went for an hour nap this afternoon, and she's had about a 3-hour awake time since her last nap. So this is actually quite key. So I make sure there's a 3-hour to 3.5-hour window between her last nap and her bedtime. Shane was putting Ari to sleep, but Ari needed to go to the toilet, so they came back into the room. So I normally settle Ivy and Shane settles Ari to bed. They both go to bed at the same time because Ari can be very loud, so we try and get them down at the same time, and that means that me and Daddy get our evenings to ourselves. Ivy started falling asleep on the boob. You don't really want them to do this because you want them to be awake when you try and sleep train them. So I took her off and put her onto my shoulder, but she started wiggling and wanted to go back on. So I stood up with her and I just rock her for a little while. Usually she just looks around the room until she gets a bit tired, and when she gets drowsy is when I put her into her bedside crib and she usually just settles herself. But today, because she was so tired, she was trying to wiggle herself back down. As you can see, she's trying to push me away while I was trying to set the camera just so you guys can see me. But yeah, she was trying to wiggle her way down to the boob, so I put her back up and held her slightly tighter, but she was not having it. So I kept repositioning her and I tried to move a little bit faster just to distract her. Sometimes she just likes to look around the room and then she kind of just settles herself, but she didn't today. But I carried on with my normal routine. I kept repositioning her and I just made sure she was calm before I put her into her bedside crib. She didn't actually cry at any point, but I just want to make sure that she is settled and a little bit more tired with just having the room dark, and she knows that this is her bedtime routine. So I just carry on with the bedtime routine. But as she kept wiggling, I decided that it was time for me to put her into her crib now. But usually I only do this for 5 minutes before I put her into a crib anyways. So it was her normal routine that I stuck with and she seemed pretty settled. So I'm just adjusting the camera again so that you guys can see me put her in. I'm just going to skip forward a little bit. I'm also going to turn the camera volume on as well so that you guys can witness the real footage. I'm just making sure my volume is turned up so that you could hear her cry. But by the time I get downstairs, she is pretty much settling herself to sleep. So the way we got into this sleep routine originally is because 6 to 7 months she was just on and off my boob pretty much all night, and we were co-sleeping and I just wasn't getting enough sleep, so I thought enough is enough. So I wanted to try the sleep training where you go and settle the baby every 5 minutes if they are continuously crying. But Ivy was actually pretty good that she ended up settling herself within the 5 minutes. And since that day, we have stuck to our routine and we are a week in. So I'm just going to fast forward this now with the volume on so that you can see that she does actually settle herself and she falls asleep. I continued the screen recording until I made my cup of tea so that you could get a good amount of time just to make sure that she did settle herself. So Ivy is now asleep and I am going to enjoy my cup of tea and a little chocolate bar and wait for Married at First Sight to come on. Anyone else watching that? Let me know in the comment section below, and I am going to sign this vlog off here. But if you guys enjoyed this vlog and if you want to see some more of mine and Ivy's routine, then make sure you give this video a thumbs up and also make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one.